Hey guys, it's Greg. How's it going? In this video, I'm going to review the Data Science Math Skills course by Duke University. Now, this has 10,000 ratings and 4.5 stars, which is a lot and very good. I genuinely don't think I've seen it before though, so I'm happy to go through this. But I did take a look at it just now, and it's good at what it does, at what it's trying to do. It is good at that. It does have some limitations, and I disagree with some of the terminology because data science math skills, to me, I was assuming it would talk about linear algebra and a lot of statistics stuff. It does do the statistics stuff somewhat. It really doesn't do linear algebra at all, which I would say is definitely a fundamental skill for doing data science. So this is even more basic than that. It is really set theory. So that's kind of a high school level math course. Properties of the real number line, again, high school math, algebra with inequalities, summation and sigma notation, Cartesian plane, distance formulas, graphing and describing functions and their inverses, the concept of instantaneous rate of change, aka a derivative, exponents, logarithms, and the natural log function. I would definitely recommend that material over some of the other stuff, and some probability theory, including Bayes' theorem. Okay, so it's kind of a warm-up to some university level math. It's almost like a cross between high school math and university level math, and it is good. So if you don't know these things and you think you're able to take this course, with basic math skills, you will be able to take this course, then I highly recommend it. But it does have limitations, like the fact that it doesn't do linear algebra here. You do not have the necessary math to learn data science. You do for maybe basic analytics and getting comfortable with just numbers in general, but it's not enough to get into the machine learning stuff. So with that being said, I am going to do a full review of the material, so stay tuned. So week 1. 18 minutes to complete. That's not very long at all. This is really just nothing. A welcome and goodbye. Week 2, functions and graphs, all about functions and plotting those functions and understanding them on the Cartesian plane. Important stuff if you do not know it already. Composition and inverse, that's where it starts to get a little bit more complicated into functions, but I do think that you'll be okay as long as you take that nice and slow. Useful material. Measuring rates of change, the calculus concept of the derivative. Now, a lot of people still don't understand derivatives nearly well enough, so I'm very, very glad that they cover this. For any machine learning material, you definitely should know rates of change and derivatives quite well. Unfortunately, this probably only does it in a single variable format instead of a multiple variable format. I would recommend advancing that when you can using linear algebra, but this is a good first step. If you don't know what a derivative is, or if you just kind of don't understand it very well, then I would highly recommend doing this week. And it finishes off with an introduction to probability theory. This module introduces the vocabulary and notation of probability theory, mathematics for the study of outcomes that are uncertain but have predictable rates of occurrence. So teaching probability is tough. It genuinely is a very confusing thing, and they do a great job of it here. They take it nice and simple with 7 minutes on the notation, 6 minutes on joint probabilities, 12 minutes on permutations, combinations. You can actually spend a lot more time on that. And this also is basically the same thing. They go into sum rule, conditional probability, product rule. So all about the basic statistics stuff. Pretty much in any probability book, you would see this in the first, 10 pages or so. And even though it's 10 pages, it seems brief. It's confusing stuff. And if you haven't learned it before, it's quite difficult actually. We do have some practical exercises, which are actually relatively long. I doubt they'd actually take the amount of time that they're suggesting there. But the people really like this, okay? So it's 4 weeks. It's quite simple. You do 1 week, which is basically nothing. You do a second week, which is all about functions. You do a third week, which is all about derivatives of those functions. And a fourth week on introduction to probability theory, some basic statistics. It's great. If you don't know these things, then absolutely, I recommend this course. I don't overly recommend bothering to pay for the certificate on this. I don't think it's really that impressive to show an employer that you have basic math skills. It's kind of something that you would just do for free, in my opinion. But that's up to you, of course. Any certificate may help. And I hoped that explained this course and maybe showed you something that you didn't see before, because I personally was not aware of this before. But I have a solid understanding of what they're talking about here for sure. And I agree with it. It's great. Okay, enough blabbering on. If this is your first video with me, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. Please drop a like on this video if it does provide any value to you, and I will catch you in the next one.